Get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 and use the promo code. Presented by Prize Picks. Welcome to Light Years. Oh, dude, we need a chair sponsor. That's what I know right now. It is
Living Spaces. Come on down. Sponsor us. We'll take all the chairs you got.
Herman Miller. I have one of your chairs. It is a phenomenal product. I know Warriors front office has something like that. Steel case, one of those high-end chairs, because those motherfuckers are very comfortable right now. Very, very comfortable.
They haven't moved out of their chairs in 3 weeks. They're just stuck there. That's it. Dude, they're just sitting at the office stuck in the chair.
We are recording this at 9:30 on the 17th. Basically, the 18th. We're on 19 days of zero activity. It's funny, man. When we went to Summer League, we were both there at the same time. There was I was already agitated at that. Another week plus. We're here. Warriors Summer League teams play now, but most people went last weekend, and it's endless. It's fucking endless.
It really does feel like there's no end in sight. And I'm hoping I'm wrong about that. We've heard a couple things here and there, but yeah, it feels like this could stretch into August. And that sounds insane, but it feels like it can. And the Warriors aren't obviously, we've heard the reporting from Stein and now Mark Stein, Jake Fisher, and other sources that it's pretty locked in that Al Horford and DeAnthony Melton are most likely coming to the Warriors. And I have a Melton story that I'm going to share with the people eventually. But
should we start with story time just to make everyone feel better?
We could do that. We could pivot from going down this road immediately. We can get back to this stuff later. We can do story time. I don't mind doing that right now. The floor is mine, I guess, right?
Yeah, let's get story time. Let's get Tommy's Summer League diaries.
So what I'll say is, first of all, everybody, if you're a fan of the NBA in general, you should go to Summer League. It's a really cool atmosphere. Everybody has their hair down a little bit in a metaphorical sense. I saw so many just random people. I saw Greg Oden and Rudy Gay, and then obviously a bunch of NBA execs and just people that work in media. And for the most part, everybody's pretty approachable. You'll find the occasional asshole who doesn't want to socialize with you, but for the most part, everybody's there to number one, obviously network a little bit and try to get some business done. But number two, have a good time. It's Las Vegas at the end of the day. So you're catching people in an environment where they're there to enjoy themselves. And so they're just naturally a little bit more approachable. But yeah, no, Vegas was, like I said, I'm getting to that right now, Monkey Games. We'll talk about it here in a minute. So Friday night, I'm a little bit disappointed that I didn't come and meet up with you at Fremont Street because there's a lot of people I wanted to see there. But Aaron and I got sidetracked. If you want to know what I'm talking about, just go to my Twitter page. You can see the picture I posted. You can understand how I got sidetracked. Had a great night, played some blackjack, and really enjoyed myself that Friday night. Saturday, I was going to go to the games with you. But then a friend called me and told me she had a table at Encore Beach Club. So I was like, well, there'll be some NBA players there. So I went into that, and lo and behold, like I said, I saw Rudy Gay there. I saw Greg Oden there. But I'm getting ready to leave around 5 because I actually had a networking thing, which I'll also talk about. I'm getting ready to leave around 5. I look to my right, 15 feet away, DeAnthony Melton. And I was like, oh shit, I got to go say something. And I had a couple drinks, so I was feeling loose anyway. So I walk up to him. I'm like, yo, you're DeAnthony Melton, right? He goes, yeah, man, what's going on? I was like, oh, Tommy Jordan, Light Years Pod with Sam and Andy. And he was like, oh, shit. He recognized who we were, which is a pretty cool moment for me. But then I just kind of went right into it. I was like, man, we really loved having you on the squad. It'd be awesome if you came back. But I'm sure, the decision-making it's almost not up to you at this point because what's going on with the Warriors. Yeah, man, I'm just waiting it out. But basically, that's where I want to be. I love the vibe of the organization. Really enjoyed my time there, even though it was short-lived. But he's like, I just love the people there. And I was like, I'd assume that all trickles down from Steph, right? And he goes, bro. And I was like, what's up? And he goes, Steph's the best person. Yeah, I saw this too. For the people just listening, there was another guy who met DeAnthony Melton in Vegas and essentially the same story that I'm telling. But yeah, he said that essentially he was like, Steph is the best person I've ever met in my entire life. And I was like, it's really we always say stuff like that. we always say stuff like that, and it like I'm sure to people who don't support the Warriors, it seems ridiculous. But every time you talk to somebody who's like close to the organization who has spent time around Steph, they all say the same thing. And that's like getting to root for a guy like that throughout the entirety of his career. It's like it was cool to just kind of like take a step back and hear it from somebody that's so close to it, or like was so close to it for a little bit, and to hear the same thing like repeat. It's not like we don't know it, but it is like it's pretty crazy. To like no matter who comes in touch with him, they all say the same thing. So that was a pretty cool moment.
I think also to piggyback that, look, we've all gone the span of emotions on the organization, the system, the coach, all that sort of stuff. All of this stuff is only made possible when you actually have a culture, and culture requires buy-in, and buy-in requires standing for something, and also not being able to put up with certain other things.
Totally.
And we've seen the negative sides of that, but the positive side of that is for certain players, if they vibe with it, if that's what they're about, if they're like, yeah, I love to move the ball on offense and get after it defensively, not a better place to play. Like it's one of those things. Like if you understand basketball, you're like D'Anthony Melton, just on face value of how he plays basketball, fits in perfectly to everything the Warriors do. Al Horford, the same thing. And I'm going to say this every day until they're signed, because this is like a copium take, because God knows if they don't sign, I'm going to just melt down in like the worst way possible.
Yeah.
But it's like, those are kind of like, look, I haven't loved every decision the Warriors have made since two timelines, since 2019-20.
Yeah.
But it's like these little things that just remind you, like, there is something there that is special. It starts with number 30. It trickles through the code. It trickles throughout the organization, but starts with number 30. And like your interaction, I honestly think is a perfect example of that. Because like Melton's he's played in Philly with Embiid. He's played in Memphis with Ja. Like he's played with superstars. He knows what a superstar looks like. I think if you ask him, he lists like 10 players he thinks are superstars. It's about that feeling, that fit, that like this is what I want as a player. This is how I fit in here. And hopefully it comes through.
I'm really putting my name on the line here by like putting this out in public. But like I obviously, like I said, Mark Stein and Jake Fisher have said basically the same thing. So I feel pretty confident in that. One more thing I'll say about Melton. Bigger than you think. Like he doesn't look like he's huge and that's most NBA players. But like, I figured he'd be like 6'1"ish. He's like all of 6'3", wide through his shoulders. And it's just, that's more of just like an NBA guy thing. When you see an NBA player in person, it's like this he's like I played basketball for a long time. It always makes sense to me when I see like NBA guys. I'm like, yeah, there's a reason that I didn't make it. I'm a 6-foot white guy who can barely dunk, but that was really cool. And he's just a super cool, like down to earth dude. He actually told me, he was like, yo, I'm going to live later tonight if you want to roll. And I was just like, I was like, yo, dude.
Now we're just trying to show off. Now we're just trying to show off. It's like, yeah, I was like, no, I'm going to Regate's table. I'm good, bro.
It wasn't like come with me to the table, but it's more like if you're there, like, that type of thing. It wasn't like that. That's my guy, man. That's my guy, D'Anthony. But no, that was super cool. And then
if the Warriors do not get D'Anthony Melton, this is gonna be very bad for you. This is gonna be very bad for you.
It's gonna be aggregated everywhere. Last thing from Vegas. Our guy Aaron Larsoul was kind enough to get me into the Clutch party. Clutch was having a party. This place called Jardine at the Encore. And so
don't be disclosing locations. Do not be disclosing locations. What's wrong with you? Keeps it. You know what? I'm gonna drop the hammer on this story. We're dropping.
Okay, we're moving it. We're
moving on. We can keep it to yourself at this point, because I'm gonna get in trouble now.
What?
For this sort of thing? No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But it's good pod fodder. Maybe we'll get back to it later. Get back to it a little later.
Okay,
we'll see.
Perfect.
Oh, is Melton this season's offseason Saric? I reject that, because first off, the Warriors got him last offseason. And it was just bad luck with the injury. It was very obvious in 5 games this dude was going to be a difference maker for the team. And then, like, worst thing happens. He gets sideswiped on his knee. It sucks,
I
It's
think
not the same. It's not the same.
I think
Also,
Aaron Singh is more like just washed from knee injuries type of thing, but I don't know. I mean, he said he was about 2 months out when I talked to him, so it sounds like basically by training camp he should be good to go. And ACLs, like he's not going to be probably 100% to start the season, but I think he'd be there by probably like they're going to watch his minutes. They're going to be very careful with him. Celebrini going to work his magic, and I would assume kind of halfway through the year we're getting kind of like the best version of D'Anthony Melton, whatever that looks like post ACL.
my assumption was always, just given the nature of his injury, it's like you sign him because he's just significantly better than the contract he's going to get off his knee injury.
Yeah.
Probably going to take it light on the first half of the season. And he can, because he got Pods. You know, I think Pod's going to be really good next
Pods
year.
year three lead. Year three lead.
He was really good this year. He was really good the second half of this year. And then, as soon as Melton's knee feels better, then he probably gets ramped up a little bit. We love ramping things up here.
Oh, of course. That's it's been our favorite thing since 2020. Yeah, I mean, just real quick on Pods. I mean, he's our best player in Game 5 of the Western Conference semifinals. Like, actually, he was. And obviously, he was super up and down in the playoffs, but he was injured. Like, he had surgery on his core. So, like, that means something. And I do think there is a little bit of concern moving forward with him just because of how physical he plays. Like, I think there is some injury risk with him as a player in general. But I don't know. I'm pretty confident that the kid's going to continue to get better. Is he going to be like an 18-point-a-game scorer next year? I don't know about that. But he just does so many winning things. And again, and I said this during the playoffs too, it's very rare for a guy his age to actually be like a positive impact guy and to have the playoff moments that he had at 21 years old in those playoffs. Like, that's very, very rare. So you're hoping he hasn't like maxed out as a player. You could see that maybe because of the athletic limitations, but I just feel like he's going to keep getting better little by little.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's like one of those. We've kind of put aside internal improvement in those conversations because it's free agency. And anyway, we're back to the chair. Chair.
Let's go back.
That's where we're at right now. Who's in the chair right now? Can we talk about that? Like, sometimes I've been thinking about it. Like, are we in the chair? Is Joe in the chair? Is Mike in the chair? Is Kuminga in the chair?
It's a communal chair. We're just sitting in a big circle.
Are there 8 chairs? Everyone's sitting around here, steps in his own chair, steps in a throne.
We're all in the chair, man. Like, nobody. I think that's the most kind of fascinating thing about this situation is it got mismanaged from every single angle. Like, nobody, literally nobody comes out of this looking good. Not Kuminga, not his agent, not the Warriors, not Joe Lacob, not Mike Dunleavy, whoever you would, not Steve Kerr, not even Stephen Draymond. Like, this part isn't on them, but like nobody looks good right now. And that's why it's just so like, can we have somebody that can just be an adult and make a goddamn decision? I don't care. Like, I do care. I mean, I'm not going to say I don't care what the outcome is. Of course I do. But can we just get some goddamn clarity? I said at the beginning of free agency, I was like, I feel like within 24 hours, I don't know if something's going to happen, but we'll have clarity on what the direction is. Is he going to stay or is he going to go? We still don't have clarity on that. So it's so frustrating that it seems like nobody can handle this situation correctly.
I feel like we've been quick to throw all the blame on Joe. And, it's fair. Certainly taking victory laps all the time and telling everyone how you're genius. Mm-hmm. It sets you up for this failure. But do you trust Mike? Like, where does Mike fit into this? Because he's gotten, I don't want to say he's gotten a pass, but I feel like because we know how involved Joe is, we never discuss Mike in this equation.
I want to trust Mike. I want to, because I believe the guy has a good basketball, like a good eye for basketball. I think that's pretty obvious through the early part of his tenure. The draft picks have mostly been good. Tuhi maybe withstanding, that has not looked great so far. It's very early. But I think I trust his general basketball sense. It feels like he does understand how to build a team around Steph and Draymond. And now Jimmy, obviously, too. Like, his head is in the right place with most of these moves. But there's a wide like kind of gap or chasm between like understanding what to do and then being able to execute what to do. And even though he's been around the game since he was born, I mean, his dad was a longtime NBA coach for people who don't know, and obviously he played in the league too.
The
But
epitome of a lifer. Yeah.
100%, like this, he's lived this since the day he was born. But it doesn't mean you can have the greatest eye, but if you can't execute the deals, if you don't know how to like come to the table and like get something done, it doesn't really matter. Like at the end of the day, it's a results business. You could talk about having good process and like doing the correct things to get to the right place, but if you can't execute, none of it matters. And that's where my questions land with Mike right now. And he's obviously hamstrung and like he's got his hand side a little bit in the metaphorical sense, but at the same time, like you got to get something done here, man. Like my worry now is like, it sounds like we just said it. Melton and Horford want to be here, but what if it's 2 weeks from now and they want clarity on their future, and like, we still haven't figured this thing out. What if they look for other options just because of that? Like, how long are these guys going to wait? At the end of the day, they have a family to take care of. They have people.
We're blaming you. If Melton falls through the cracks,
Yeah,
he's gonna be like, I do was fucking weird at the beach party, at the pool party. Yeah. I don't know about that. Laker fucking fans don't do that to me. No, actually, to be fair, they actually.
They're worse. They're worse. They're way worse.
Here's my thing, and it's like I agree with you. I think what Mike has shown us is he's incredibly shrewd. He's got a great eye for talent, particularly in the second round, right? Like, so I'm not questioning that. My question is, and this is probably more of a local Bay Area take, but not every GM is right for every job. So the Giants just let go of Farhan Zaidi, who is a universally respected baseball executive. Did excellent work with the Oakland A's, did excellent work with the Dodgers.
Yeah.
He took over a team that was kind of had no farm and was a mess, and they were really looking for someone who could like build a foundation. And it just never happened, and you can blame 50 different figures in this, but the reality is I don't think he was the guy for that type of job. Now, Mike's taking over a different job. Mike's taking over an old dynasty where you need that person who's going to be bold to give Steph one more shot without like ruining 15 years of future, right? Which is a tough thing. And I wonder if he's that kind of guy. I wonder if that's it. Because like I would actually bet my life on Dunleavy being an excellent GM for a rebuilding team to build it from the ground up.
Yeah,
I
agree.
Like, he knows talent. I could never imagine him being a guy who made like a Wiseman, like that type of like screw up. I think he'd nail that sort of stuff. I think he'd know his foundation. I think he'd know the right development coaches to go around him. He'd build the culture up. I'm not calling him Sam Presti because Presti's the best in business, but I actually think he has a lot of those qualities. Those are different qualities than what we're looking for in this seat. And I'm not saying he doesn't have them. I'm just saying
in this chair.
We're all in chairs all day. What's our guy say here? 8 to 5, I'm in the chair. Come home, I sit in the chair and play video games, and then I fall asleep in the chair.
This thing is taking on a life of its own, man.
So I don't even know the answer to that, but like at this point, it's 3 weeks of no movement, and like, have you not just thought of this from every angle of frustration at this point? Because like the Joe angle is the easy angle.
Right.
We've been there. I go to that well every time I'm frustrated at this team.
No, totally.
and ultimately, if you were to ask me what is my single biggest frustration, it's probably the 2 timeline mess that they still haven't got out of. But when you start thinking about it more and more, I'm like, how do we feel about Mike in this situation?
Yeah, I mean, I Joe's delusion is just always what worries me. Like at the end of the day, like I think he still thinks that like Kuminga is a future like top 10 player in the top 20 player in the league, which I guess he could be in theory, but like he just wants to be right about it so badly. Like his ego is so involved in these picks, and like that's just a dangerous place with anything. When your ego gets too involved with anything in life, you're in a bad place. But like he's essentially leveraging his ego against the end of Steph's career, and it's like, let's see who wins. And it doesn't. it's not like he's necessarily trying to screw Steph over, but like Steph winning another championship is not Joe's top priority. Like it just isn't. Joe wants to win another championship. He doesn't care if it's with Steph or if it isn't. And that's just my honest opinion on it. I could be wrong. Like I don't know if you sat him down in a chair.
This is Tommy right now. Tommy's going, your ego is not your amigo, Joe.
It's true, man. It's true. But back to the Dunleavy thing, like, yeah, I just don't know if he can execute yet. And like, obviously, he pulled off the Jimmy thing, which was awesome. And I'm glad he did that. Like, you got to give him some credit there. But this is dragging out. Like, you can also point to the CP thing, which is like, was that necessarily the best use of the asset? Obviously, that was a salary dump, so that's an entirely different thing. But that's why, like you're saying, it's very hard to analyze Mike, because it's like, what is a Mike thing and what is a Joe thing or a Kirk thing or a Kent thing? There's so many cooks in the kitchen. I would love to just see Mike with like general autonomy that a lot of GMs get, you know, because I feel like this is probably one of the least autonomous GM jobs in the league, just in terms of
this is a startup, but it's a collaborative environment.
Exactly. Not in terms of money. Like Joe will
every
spend
startup cliche.
Yeah. Joe will spend, like, they're not the Indiana Pacers who are trying to duck the tax every year. So there's different problems in every scenario. But yeah, I'd be interested. I don't know what other moves Mike might have pulled off with the same resources, but not having kind of that constant angel devil situation. You know what I mean? On your shoulder.
Sure.
So like, but yeah, like I said, I don't really have. Let's see what Mike does here. I think this is going to be very telling to where Mike can be as a GM.
And I can't believe I'm saying this because I hated him as a player, but I found him endearing as an executive. He said it. He's like, you know, there's a lot of pressure on you because of what these guys mean to everything in the Bay Area, that you don't want to be the guy who screwed it up.
Yeah.
You want to end this the right way. He said multiple times, end it the right way. And to me, a lot of that comes down to the idea of like, you just want to be the guy who made the dumb trade. Like you traded Draymond for something you thought would take you to a different level. And then instead it ruined the whole thing. And so yeah. I don't know. I'm not making any sort of judgment on it. I'm just like,
yeah, like it's
man, give us some moves to talk about, guys. Give us some moves.
Give me something. I'm starving. I'm stuck in a chair and I don't have any food.
I also get it because like all the moves, the Horford, the Melton, like all your friends from Summer League that you're best friends with now, like
my guys.
they can't sign until the Kuminga thing is done for cap reasons.
Yeah.
So I get it, but we're reaching that. Like when you're in the desert too long, you start hallucinating. That's kind of where we're at right now mentally.
That's how I felt after. Maybe the Melton thing was a hallucination. Maybe I actually didn't see him. Maybe I was hallucinating. It was so hot in Vegas. Like it always is, but I felt like it was also humid this time. You know, like it's usually just a dry heat out there. I felt like it was humid as well. I must have lost 5 pounds sitting at that pool on Saturday. Okay, where were we? I lost my.
You felt good in the chair afterwards. You felt light in the chair.
Yeah, I did feel light in the chair. No, I just yeah, give us something. Just anything at this point. Give me something to work with. Let's do a read. Yeah, let's move on from this. Light Years Podcast. We are brought to you by Prize Picks. Basketball season may be over, but the action doesn't stop because baseball is heating up. Step up to the plate and pick with Prize Picks and add your favorite baseball players to your lineup. Whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, or first inning runs, make your call with more or less and play for your shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash today. I'm actually getting in on some British Open action this weekend. Weird.
Who we got?
You know, thought Rory might do it coming into the week, but after round 1, I think my guy Ricky Fowler is finally going to come through. Has never won a major. Has been top 3 at worst at some point in his career in all of the majors. He has 3 second place finishes and then like 1 third place finish, I think, at the British. So he's been close so many times. And I think
so. You didn't play Scotty like me.
No.
I fell into the romanticized narrative after his statement about, you know,
it was an interesting statement. I'll leave it at that. But yeah, I mean, Scotty is like, it's not like what betting Tiger would have been in the 2000s, but like it's almost at that level. He's that dominant. So you can never really go wrong with that. It's like betting over on or more on step threes, basically. You know what I mean? They could always feel pretty good about doing it, even if it doesn't work out. But yeah, I'm going Ricky. I'm gonna play, I think, is more on birdies tomorrow. I think it's at like 3. So that feels, if I'm rooting for him, that feels pretty low if I think he's gonna play well. So yeah, like tail me on Ricky Fowler this week, guys. So download the app today and use code LIGHTYEARS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That is $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup, and that is code LIGHTYEARS to get $50 instantly after you play that first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game.
Since we're reminiscing about Vegas, I will tell you the number one thing I think about Vegas is how I need to lose weight immediately afterwards, because I've just destroyed my body with the combination of good food, drinking, and just living an unsustainable lifestyle for 72 or so hours.
Yeah.
And so when I want to get myself back on track, I mean, the first way to get yourself back on track is actually being honest with yourself, right? See where you're at. And standing on the scale, it's cool, but it doesn't really tell you what's going on with your body. And so our friends at Body Spec, they're offering a DEXA scan, and they've made it affordable for everyone. And so what is a DEXA scan? DEXA scan is a highly accurate method of measuring your body's composition. So like body fat percentage, lean muscle mass, visceral fat, the fat around your organs. Basically the stuff pro athletes do, the stuff that Rick Celebrini makes the Warriors do before every season. You know, he does this and he goes, Anthony Lamb, this is what I need. This is what I want a pro athlete to look like. You know, Steph, you need to start losing some weight. But no, but seriously, like DEXA scan, it's a good way to measure where your body's at. And what I love about our friends at Body Spec is they've made it affordable and accessible for all. Not just affordable, but accessible for all. So with the code LIGHTYEARS45, you can get a scan for only $45. These are usually $200, $300, $400. But on top of that, locations in the Marina, Embarcadero, LA, and mobile vans that will come to you. Dude, the barrier of entry is so low. Like, schedule it, $45, van comes to you, scans you, your results are in your email. They'll set up a fitness journey for you after that, where they'll be like, Sam, you got cankles. We got to start working on that. You know, that's where the issue is. Like, this is the most no-brainer of all time, guys. Buyspec.com. LIGHTYEARS 45. Get that DEXA scan. Start your fitness journey today.
They make it so easy that they can come to your house and they can do it while you sit in the chair. That's how easy Body Spec makes
legitimately. They're legitimately gonna be like, get in the chair. We're about to start this fitness journey, bro. That's what Body Spec does right there.
They're the best. They're the best.
Oh, I mean, like, it's actually just an accurate statement. It's not even like a joke at this point. No, literally making it easy for everyone here. Do you feel like Kuminga thing's heating up a little bit? I think it is.
Yeah, I do. I definitely do. It feels like, you know, the Suns have entered the fray now, and they had reported interest in him at the deadline. Like, if the KD thing would have been pulled off, JK would have been on the way out, probably to Phoenix, maybe to Miami if it ended up being a 3-team deal. Who knows where he would have ended up? But Phoenix is interested. I guess.
And so our guys, let me get to it. Our guys, Jake Fisher, Mark Stein, sources say Phoenix, meanwhile, is the latest team to express exploratory interest in the Kuminga sign trade. Challenges for Phoenix to make it happen, fresh off competing on the Bradley. Yeah, Phoenix is here. Little light years intel. Can guarantee the offer is awful. I don't know. Like, where do you think?
For the offer that I've heard,
Mm-hmm.
not enthused, not very enthused. But
so you and I are talking about the same one, and it's floating around social media, and I've heard it off social media. So I'll just say it's Royce O'Neal, Nick Richards, and a first.
There's a first for Joe, baby. Joe's getting the first back, and the funny thing is, it actually could be a valuable first. But Nick Richards sucks. Royce is a valuable player. But
Yeah, that's old Moses Moody.
there you go. With a little bit more size. And just a little bit bigger and wider.
Does he have a little more size?
I met Moses too. I forgot to tell you that. Moses, big dude. But I think he's taller and just like he's 30 whatever versus 22. So
Got a
yeah,
little more old man strength. A little more consistent jumper at this point of his career.
More consistent jumper, can definitely play the actual small ball four instead of like what we try to make Moody do is play small ball four, and it like sometimes it goes well and sometimes it doesn't, which isn't his fault. Like he's playing out of position when he does that. But like Nick Richards, I wouldn't even want Nick Richards back. He's the Arrested Development meme where it's like it didn't work for those people, but it might work for us. Like he's not a very good player. I saw him kick Wiseman's ass, but that doesn't really mean much. So if that's what it ends up being, man, after OG was a possibility and Pascal Siakam was a possibility and et cetera, that would just be so disheartening if we end up with Royce O'Neal for Jonathan Kuminga. I'd rather just keep Kuminga. I think I really do. I'd sell myself on, I think they got more shooting with Horford and Melton, could shoot and playmaker. They'll figure it out with Kuminga. I'd rather do that. I'm not even kidding.
Doesn't it feel like this Kuminga situation is essentially going towards, can we get a first? Can we get multiple firsts? Can we get stuff that we can potentially use in the next move?
Yeah.
More than anything. Like, if you told me they could get a first round pick and Royce O'Neal, to your point, Royce O'Neal at this point in his career is like a solid 7th or 8th man. You can throw him into the rotation. You might start him. You might start him in random series, but he's going to play 20 minutes for you. He knows how to play off of dudes, which is an important skill. He can hit open jumpers. He knows how to defend. Can be physical. He's going to be an optimized Moses Moody, right? Mm-hmm. And there's no limit to how many of those type of guys you want on your roster. Like you can always use another couple of those guys on your roster at any time. Like OKC, you could say like it was Shea, it was Jalen, and there was a lot of those guys like on the wings in general. So anyway, my point is that's useful. And then I think what really matters in this is, and I don't know that this is where we're at, but they might be at this point where they're like, look, if we're not going to keep Kuminga, we need to get stuff that we can use in a trade to get the guy we want. But that's where picks are actually valuable, because as we've seen with this organization, the minute you pick a guy, you've limited your options. Whereas like the pick itself, at least then the team who absorbs the pick can make their own decision. Once you've picked the guy, some guys might like him. Other guys might not like him. You're automatically closing the field a little bit.
It's like buying a car. The moment you take it off the lot, it depreciates. Yeah, that's what, essentially making a pick is. Yeah, I just okay, let's say it is Royce and they get a first back. Great. What is like the salary that you're using to go get somebody else? Like if it's somebody like really important, like it might have to be Draymond, and like I don't want to trade Draymond as volatile as he can be. He's still essential to what this team does. I mean, if you're telling me you can go get Giannis, of course. But
okay, so like if you got Royce makes essentially what 13. Moses makes. God, I think he makes they really only have like 7 players.
That's what disgusting. I'm saying, dude. It's insane. What is that? What 9 guys? Is that 9 roster players?
Yeah, so you add another 11. So you got Moses Moody, you got Royce. Those are guys in the you can trade for the 10 to 12 range. So yeah, it's your point. You can get a guy who makes probably up to 28, 29. Yeah. Buddy's in that same range. So maybe you compile the 3 of them. You can get a guy who makes close to 40. It puts you in the mix for certain things. Yeah. But like the deal you make for those guys is going to undoubtedly be about like the draft capital. It's going to be the Desmond Bane, where who did they actually trade for Desmond Bane?
I don't even know.
Cole Anthony, who they waived, who's now a Milwaukee Buck.
I don't even remember what the contracts were. It was about the 4 picks. That's
exactly. Yeah. So I guess grabbing picks opens up opportunities to do stuff like that. Like it all feels very underwhelming.
Yeah.
KCP. Yeah, to his point. That's actually
Oh,
This
we go.
is probably the biggest reason against it. They had a nice $25 million or $22 million contract to play with.
Right. Those things are helpful. Like, even though it seemed like a bad contract, it wasn't long term, so they
Right.
could, it's movable, essentially.
Yeah.
So they can get to
21.
they can get to like 40 million, basically. I mean, shit, want to throw Lowry Markkinen back out there as an option. Ainge is going to want 4 picks, but like that's where having that Phoenix first would be helpful, because now you only have to give 3 of your own. Yeah. So I get that logic.
And to your point on Nick Wright, or sorry, Nick Wright, Nick Richards. That's a contract, you can throw in to aggregate salary, because that's the stuff that matters, but like it's not a bunch of salary.
Yeah.
Like that's also, I guess that's the other part of the Kuminga thing. These trade offers that we're seeing for him really do come under the assumption that it's for 20, not 30 million.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which also limits your mobility upwards in terms of contracts. Although maybe it opens up other options for you. So,
yeah, I mean, we're just. I'm honestly pretty impressed by this, that we're actually able to like continue pumping out content for the people. I'm just gonna pat us on the back real quick, because we're recycling the same conversations, guys. But yeah, who's giving him 30 million? That's the real question. To like just go back to that real quick, like who's giving Kuminga 30 million? I can't see the offer being over 25. I just can't. And like the latest reporting is that like some of the stalemate is that he wants more than 25 million a year. Who's giving it to you, man? And that goes back to the part of like his agent not being realistic with him and saying, hey, your market says you're not going to make more than 25 million. Let's figure something out, because we need to get
is
you
it
paid.
the agent or is it the player?
It's both. It's both.
Or is the player's circle?
I think it's two guys like almost feeding into each other's worst tendencies. You know what I mean? Like they're both a little bit delusional about what the market is and should be, and who he is as a player at this point. But like the market is telling you you're not what you think you are. Like he has a ton of potential. I don't think I've ever denied that. But it's so far from being like meaningful on a night-to-night basis or at a possession-to-possession basis. Nobody's in the current cap environment in the NBA. Nobody is giving 35 million to that. Now, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, yeah, he probably would have got whatever the percentage of the cap is that he's looking for. But that's not the case anymore. It's a different environment. And that's why like not understanding the landscape that you're living in is so detrimental. And I think that's really the biggest issue from Kuminga's side. They're just looking at like the straight dollar value of like what other guys got. It's like, well, things have even shifted in like the last 12 months. The team's approaches have shifted in the last 12 months from when they were handing out extensions to guys in his classes last summer.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'd love to know how much of it is the agent versus the player, because my gut tells me it's not as straightforward as people think.
I agree.
Like, are we sure the player's not the one who is driving the whole thing and the agent's just not being a yes man? And if he isn't a yes man, he'll get fired anyway.
Yeah.
Or are we sure the agent's the one who's selling him BS about how he can get 40 if he just sticks with him? I don't know. It's well, I'm just, throwing out numbers that are clearly not going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to say. All right. Mike Weisberg has a good question for us. He goes, do we think it happens in the next 2 weeks? Man, I thought it was going to happen the last 2 weeks. So I was about to say yes, but I'm getting comfy in the chair.
I'm about to invest in a new one because I'm going to be here for a while longer. It feels like I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say it happens just because I need to believe it's going to happen. If this goes into August, I don't know what I'm going to do. I might just stop paying attention altogether. Just like wake me up when they make a decision. It feels like we could get, August 15th earliest. Is that what we're saying? Yikes.
That's a grim answer. If we get to August 15th, 2 weeks from today is August 1st. So the question is, do you think Kuminga's contract situation is resolved by August 1st?
Yes. And I'm willing to be wrong on this. This could be a really bad podcast for me. If Anthony Melton doesn't end up with the Warriors and Kuminga doesn't end up somewhere in the next 2 weeks, I might as well just stop. I might as well just stop doing this altogether.
I'm gonna say yes too, because I don't want it to be no. Like it's as simple as this. If like my honest answer is 65% yes. Like I'm not gonna go strong confidence yes, but I refuse to put it into the universe that like, oh, is it going to September 14th? We're doing this. We're doing this for Al Horford. Al Horford is just sitting at home till the 14th of September waiting on Kuminga.
He's in the chair too. Al's in the chair too. He might be in the retirement chair.
Al might like his chair. Al has a nice rocking chair.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, very comfortable chair.
Yeah, he does. Al, please
Melton's rehabbing his knee. You know, he should be in the chair.
He spent a lot of.
It's good for you to be there. Leg up, ice it, ice the knee. Be in the chair.
He wasn't in a chair when I saw him. He was standing up.
So, rehab going well, huh?
Yeah. Like he said, he's like 2 months out. So
nice,
encouraging. It's encouraging.
Nice. All right, we're gonna end it there. Appreciate everyone.
Thanks,
we'll be
everybody.
back in this chair very soon.
We're not leaving.